evening, folks. My name is Danidra Allen. I have a great presentation this evening that I would like to share with you about career paths. I'm currently studying at UT. Hopefully, I will graduate with my bachelor's in applied arts and science, and then kind of transvert that into something more of a career move. Hence my presentation. Sitting in your seats, you should have a couple of packets and also a clipboard as well. We're going to do a couple of exercises throughout the presentation, and I hope that it is as rewarding for you as it was for me prepping for this presentation. So let's get into it. So to start off, I want to do a quick role play. And again, we should have the clipboards in your seat, and so let's get those clipboards out. So how this role play will work, you will write your first initial, your middle initial, and your last initial to describe who you are and what describes your work ethic. So I will start with myself. Typically I'll start with my audience, but I'll start with myself just to get a point. So my middle initials, or should I say my initials, are DLCA, and how I would describe myself, I will write that down. And you can be fun with it as well. I usually think role plays are meant to be fun. And this is also a good opportunity to see your competition out there when you're looking for a job. All right, so again, my initials are DLCA. So I consider myself a dedicated worker. I'm extremely loyal and charismatic and achiever. I do have some audience in here. Hello, Raymond, how are you?
I'm good.
Would you like to share your qualities
Yes.
as a potential employer or
Yes.
employee?
So my initials is RJM. The R is for rationale.
Nice.
J is for joy, and M is for motivator.
Okay. And Miss Christina, what would you like to bring to the table? I saw some writing on your clipboard.
My initials are CTH, and that's for caring, teaching, or teacher, and hard-headed.
All right. That's a good one. That's a good one. But sometimes we need some of those kind of deviant folks in the workplace to keep us motivated, keep us in tune. I've had over 20 years of experience in people management and also development, and I felt like this was a great opportunity for me to present some few basics when it comes down to seeking jobs now for the job market. There's still some things that are traditionally the same, but then there's some things that have changed quite a bit too. And so we're going to address that in the presentation. So what to consider when making a transition in your career? That's a new profession and lateral moves. Anyone know what a new profession is or seeking a new profession?
A new job?
Yes.
Okay.
Any lateral moves in the business? Would you like to extend or grow with your company at all?
I'd love to.
Okay.
Yes, I'd love to.
All right. We're going to touch some bases on that, Raymond. Thank you for volunteering as well.
Okay.
So some of the objectives that we'll cover this evening will be evaluating your reasoning, the mission statement, core values, and the culture, the organization's culture, and then personal growth, possible advancement, applicants that seeking new job careers that's got special needs, salary and compensation. So evaluating your reasoning. Evaluating your career direction is the first step to take in this decision process. It is in your best interest to arrange your thoughts and process them so that you make rational and sound transitions. It's so important to make sure that you know what direction that you're headed into. So this evaluation process is pertinent to making that transition or making the lateral moves. We have a couple of experts that really gave a lot of great feedback as far as making those transitions in the workplace, and I can share them with you. 3 reasons for pursuing career opportunities: to better your career aspects, personal growth, and work opportunities, desire a change in career direction, and also just expressing an interest that you might have in the workplace. The organization's mission statement. There's a couple of factors to consider when seeking a new profession, and that is the organization's mission statement and the core values. Do anyone know what the organization mission statement is?
What they stand for.
Exactly what they stand for. So an organization's mission statement is actually the roadmap that informs the applicant about the organization's expectations and intentions. So that it's something to take in consideration whenever you're seeking something new or going into a new career move. According to Glassdoor, which is a highly recommended job recruiter, states that 79% of adults across 4 countries, that's the US, the UK, France, and Germany, would consider a company's mission statement before applying for a job. That's pretty evident nowadays, because you want to make sure that you're making a transition to a workplace that aligns with your mission statement and your value. Core values. Core values is the second factor to consider when seeking an organization that you want to be associated with. An applicant should research the core values before expressing interest or applying for a position. In addition, make sure that the organization's core values are aligned with yours, and to protect your personal and professional integrity and interest. So that is something to take in account. The NPS Gov defines core values as core values of an organization is those values we hold in which the foundation on which we perform and conduct ourselves. Do anyone know what that basically encompasses?
No.
Okay. So what the core values structure is how the business is ran, and how it set that roadmap that we visited in the mission statement, how they put that in place for their employees and other members of the staff to represent them. So you want to make sure that you are coherent with the core values, responsible with the core values, and able to uphold the core values. And so the NPS core values had a great acronym that I wanted to share with you folks, which is called the RIGHT. R is respect, and that's accepting your peers' differences. So if there's a difference in opinions, something that you want to make sure that you're making rational behavior, displaying rational behaviors with that, and not take offense to anyone, and don't not be offensive to anyone as well. Integrity, being honest and loyal. Everyone wants someone on their team that they can be loyal with, and also be responsible for honesty as well. Tradition, be proud, be willing to learn, and stay committed. Everyone wants the whole team to stay committed and focus as a unit. So that's really important. And share stewardship, commitment to resource and stewardship, and that's basically working as a team cohesively. The organization's culture, that's the third factor to take in consideration, is the organization's culture. An organization's culture plays a significant role when seeking a career change. The type of organizational culture plays a pivotal role in your future decision with a company. Before making a final decision, take the time to research the company's culture. You'll hear me say culture and core values and mission statement because they basically marry together. So it's important that you understand the functionality of all 3 statements, because it's pivotal for your role as a part of a team or an organization. The organization's culture is which we reflect our employees' impression of the company. So the culture basically is what you think of your workplace, how you think your workplace is set up. And the HBR org editor Rebecca shares some very enlightful things. She published an article entitled "How to Tell If a Company's Culture is Right for You," in which she examines a lot of the organization's culture and how to evaluate your future employer. And she also gives some great suggestions as well, and I'll share with you. Interview your prospective colleagues. So whenever applying for a job, you're getting to know that organization, and you can pretty much get that information from inside sources, and the inside sources is your potential colleagues. Do a test run. In the state of Texas, you have a 90-day probationary period. I think there are some other states that also exercise that probationary period whenever making that transition into a new role or accepting a job. You can see whether or not that's the job that's fit for you. Because if it's not, then you need to make that decision to either leave the company or stay with the company. But so you know that you have that option is to do that test run. Interview outside sources. There are so many different avenues that you can approach when interviewing outside sources. Usually, I take advantage of looking at their LinkedIn account, their social media, because that's a lot of insight for how the company is ran. It tells you a little bit about the culture, tells you a little bit about the core value, the dynamic of that company, and what to really expect if you was to become a member of that company as well. And then be introspective. Be your own agent. See what's fit for you. Ask questions. Be inquisitive. When you're sitting down with your potential employer, ask questions like, how's the culture? How's the turnover? How is the conflict management? How do you do that? How do you address that? And just get a feel of the company. So it's a lot of great information that she was able to share with us. Professional growth. You finally landed the job that you wanted. You got it now. Now it's your time to build your career path. This is your moment to establish your professional growth and future advancements that you would like to accomplish. And here's a few steps to start that new career path. So number one is create a vision. What would you think create a vision would be, Raymond?
I guess just write it down. Write everything that you want to do, and I guess.
Yes, great. That's a great idea. Creating that vision is basically seeing what you see your role as whenever you get it. So, for instance, I'm in the pursuit of a human resource representative or a generalist, and so I have a vision of me getting into that role, and then like I would say 30 days after that initial role placement, kind of maybe reaching out to a peer just to get some feedback on how I'm adjusting, how I'm just kind of integrating into the staff. Number two is develop a plan. Christina, would you like to elaborate on what you think develop a plan might be?
Set goals and set goals in your plan to meet by a certain time, and then ask your peers to help you or tell you what you have achieved and what you have not, and go from there.
Absolutely. Developing a plan is also great. It's an outline or roadmap of what you want your or how you see your future with that company. And so keeping a vision and a clear, concise plan, like you said, will really work. Number three, track your progress by logging and keeping I would say a daily ledger. You can pretty much guide yourself day to day to day. That might seem redundant to you. If you think that's a little simplified, it's too much. You can very well simplify it by doing maybe a weekly journal or I would say a weekly roadmap of what your progresses are and what you would like to improve. And then lastly, review your plan regularly. This is a personal choice. It just depends on how disciplined you are and how determined you are to be in that new role now that you've landed that new job. So I think a lot of personal preference goes into number 4. So make sure that you keep a catalog again of everything that you are doing in your new role, so then you can make that professional growth as you anticipate.
How would you track your progress?
How would you track your progress? So thank you for asking that, Rainy. So going back to that professional growth, I think the way of doing that is maybe reaching out to your colleagues or even your manager, and maybe developing a roadmap and seeing how you're making that progress. And if you're not making that progress, you have a moment to reflect. And maybe partner with your manager or even a partner colleague to see whether or not if you can make those changes and those adjustments. So that's a great question. Thank you for asking. Possible advancements. So there's several different directions that you can take whenever making a transition, and those advancements come along with that. That's what that lateral move is all about. Career.com editor Don Rosenberg McKay published an article, How to Move Up, provides a lot of advice to someone that's interested in making a lateral move in the company. And here is listed, ask your manager about more challenges. That's the best way of trying to get to know what your role is asked of you. Just like you said about that roadmap, how to kind of visualize what progress you're making, you can actually apply that to it. Check internal job postings. There's usually, or should I say, companies usually recruit within, because you don't want that good talent to walk away. So the best thing to do is, or one option that most companies use is recruiting within. So usually home office or human resources keep a update on job vacancies or job openings. So that's something that you could review if you want to make a lateral move. Another one would be offer to help one of your colleagues on a major project. Say for instance you were interested in moving into another department. Well, one way of getting to know that department is reaching out to someone in that department. So you can very well work with someone in that department just to get familiarized with that new role if you're making or interested in making a lateral move. And then lastly, ask a mentor or a senior colleague in the department that you're interested in to see if you can get some more insight about what that job is requiring. So a few things you want to consider too, and this is something that comes with the basis of why did I leave my job for this, or why do I want to jump into this career, is salary and compensation. So before making a lateral move, consider the salary and compensation package. The total compensation package usually determines whether or not if you want to accept a job or decline a job. According to Glassdoor, they published an article that was entitled, Why Do Workers Quit? And the Factors That Predict Employee Turnover. States that 26.9% of employees would rather stay with their employer, while 73.1% would rather move away from the company. So there's so many different things to take in consideration whenever you're making either a lateral move or getting into a new career, and that's your salary and compensation. Because if it doesn't make sense,
why do it?
Why even do it? You said it best, Wayne. So here's a couple of company compensation package that you can discuss or negotiate with your current employer or a future employer. And that's health and wellness, tuition reimbursement, travel discounts, savings program, FMLA. If anyone's not familiar with that, that's leave for a certain period of time frame. Again, tuition reimbursement and other travel expenses. And so I've had a few folks reach out to me in terms of having special needs or needing special accommodations. And so I wanted to make that a part of the presentation because we have so much talent out there of different areas of the world with different and special needs that we can very well incorporate them into the workforce. So I wanted to highlight them for a minute too.